I never meant to find any of this. My job was simple: collect stories, verify facts, move on. But everything changed on October 14th, 2019, in Warsaw, when I opened an email I wasn't supposed to see. It came from an encrypted address inside the European Data Authority, marked Level 7, Restricted Access. The subject line was a single word: Erebus. No message, no signature, just an attachment, a PDF labeled system underscore log underscore delta 47. When I opened it, half the text was corrupted, but one sentence stood out clearly: they have reactivated the network. I didn't know what that meant, not yet. Over the next few weeks, I tried to trace the sender. Every route led nowhere: proxy servers, dead IPs, blank domains. Then, 2 days later, the servers I used for the search were seized by routine cybersecurity maintenance. I thought it was coincidence until my editor received a call from someone claiming to be from internal oversight. He told her I'd been using unauthorized data channels. The next morning, my press badge stopped working. I went off the grid, stayed in a rented flat near Gdansk, using prepaid modems to keep digging. That's when I found references to Project Erebus across multiple classified archives, NATO, ESA, and even a Japanese research division called Shinra Biotechnics. The timestamps all match the same decade, 1987 to 1996. Every document used the same internal code, SS Delta, System Shadow. I remember reading that name for the first time, System Shadow, and feeling my chest tighten. It sounded more like a myth than an operation. Something you'd whisper in a cold hallway, not print in a file. The deeper I went, the more wrong things became. Footnotes led to people who didn't exist, companies registered to empty buildings, photos with half the faces blurred out. One of the scientists mentioned, Dr. Elias Wendt, had supposedly died in 1994, yet his name appeared in a 2012 patent linked to neural data mapping. Every attempt to contact his family failed. The number I found for his son redirected to a silent call that lasted 7 minutes. At minute 4, I heard someone breathing. At minute 5, a faint mechanical hum, like radio interference. Then it ended. I started recording everything: notes, screenshots, even the sounds from my phone at night. Some nights there were knocks on the door. No one there, always 3 knocks, always around 3:15 a.m. My neighbor said she saw a van parked near my building with its engine running. No plates, just a black rectangle where the registration should be. I thought about walking away, deleting everything. But once you've seen the pattern, you can't unsee it. It's not a story anymore. It's a structure, a living organism made of data, surveillance, and human fear. The world thinks it's being watched by governments and corporations. But that's not true. Governments, corporations, they're just conduits. What's behind them? That's something else entirely. They call it System Shadow. And I think I found where it started. I thought I was done digging. I thought the noise in my head would fade once I stopped looking at the files. But 2 nights after I wiped my drives, the signal came back. It started with my radio, an old shortwave receiver I used for background static when I worked. Around 2:40 a.m., it switched channels on its own. Then a pulse. 3 beeps, silence, then 5 more. It repeated every 67 seconds. I recorded it, ran a spectrogram, and found something that shouldn't have been there. Within the waveform, faintly, the words "do not respond." I uploaded the audio to a decoding forum under a fake name. Within an hour, my post vanished. Not deleted, replaced. The new text read, "Observer acknowledged." That was when I realized someone was watching my searches in real time. The next morning, my laptop camera light turned on by itself. I covered it with tape, but the LED stayed lit under the sticker, glowing faintly like an eye trying to see through the dark. I left the apartment, took a train south to Prague, and rented a cheap hostel room near the river. For a few days, nothing happened. Then the emails started again, and signed, time-stamped exactly at midnight, each with a single attachment. An image of an old facility blueprint marked SS Delta node_3. The metadata said uploaded, Shinra Biotechnics /1989. It matched a decommissioned research site in Norway, known publicly as the Svalbard Polar Communications Hub. I contacted an old source, a data engineer who'd worked with satellite relays in that region. He refused to speak over the phone. When we finally met, he didn't sit down. He told me, that place never went dark. It still draws power from the mainland grid, but nobody listed in the logs. He gave me a coordinate written on the back of a receipt and said, if you go, don't bring anything that can record. The next evening, he disappeared. His apartment was cleared out, no ID, no traces on local registries. His name, Adam Kruger, no longer existed in any government record. I took the train north. Crossing into Norway felt unreal, like moving backward in time. The air smelled of metal, the roads empty. Near Longyearbyen, I found the site. The gates were open, but no guards, no lights. Inside, dust covered the consoles. Yet one monitor glowed faintly with green code, scrolling endlessly. The last entry read, Subject Relay Online. Pattern initialized. Observer loop stable. And then my own name. Not in full, but my initials, my date of birth. I froze. The timestamp showed it was written 3 days ago. I heard a low hum, not from the monitor, but from beneath the floor. I followed it down a maintenance tunnel and found a row of glass pods, each filled with liquid and suspended shapes. I wiped the fog from one of the panels and saw something I wish I hadn't. A face. My face. Eyes open, motionless, as if waiting for a signal I didn't understand. My pulse slowed. The hum grew louder, and from somewhere in the dark, a voice whispered through the intercom, Welcome back, observer. I don't remember how long I stood there. Maybe seconds, maybe hours. The hum pulsed through my bones, steady, mechanical, like a heartbeat made of metal. My reflection, no, my replica, stared at me through the glass, eyes pale, motionless, almost liquid. I stepped closer, trying to understand how this was possible. The pod was labeled Subject 47A, the same code that had appeared in the first file I ever opened, System of 47. It wasn't just a coincidence. It was a pattern. I reached for the control panel and pressed the only lit key. The screen flickered and a feed appeared, video logs, dozens of them, all timestamped between 1990 and 2020. Each showed people inside rooms identical to this one, speaking to unseen operators. Their words were scrambled, distorted, but one sentence repeated across every log. The loop must remain stable. I watched in silence as one of the subjects, a man who looked almost identical to Dr. Elias Went, began to convulse. His body distorted, flickering between frames like corrupted footage. Then the video froze. A line of text replaced the image. Loop failure detected. Replicate observer. I felt the air pressure shift, and a metallic click echoed behind me. The door I had entered through sealed itself shut. The hum beneath the floor changed rhythm. Slower now, deliberate, almost breathing. I backed away, scanning for another exit, when a faint blue light spread across the glass pods. One by one, they lit up. Inside each, a shape began to move. I counted 7. All of them looked like me. Their eyes opened in perfect sync, pupils dilating at the same moment mine did. I don't know if they could see me, but I could feel them, a pull, a static vibration crawling across my skin. I tried to smash the nearest panel with a metal rod from the floor, but the glass didn't crack. Instead, the rod bent like rubber. The hum turned into a high-pitched frequency that made my vision blur. Then I heard again, that same voice, calm, synthetic, echoing through the speakers. The observer must witness. The system cannot observe itself. The lights began to strobe. I fell to my knees, gripping my head as images flooded my mind. Cities, data streams, faces of people I'd never met, all flickering like memories that weren't mine. I saw the logo of Shinra Biotechnics, the seal of the European Data Authority, a shadow stretching across the world map. And in the center of it all, a network of lines forming a symbol, the same delta mark from every file. When I opened my eyes, I was no longer in the facility. I was sitting in a train carriage, empty, my laptop open in front of me. The clock read 3:15 a.m. A new message blinked on the screen. No sender. Just a subject line. Loop restored. I checked my reflection in the window. For a moment, it didn't move with me. Since that night, time doesn't feel linear anymore. I wake up in different cities with the same date on every clock. November 8th, 2025. My passport stamps reset. My digital footprint erases itself every 12 hours. No matter where I go, there's always a hum, faint, just below hearing range, like the residue of that machine buried somewhere under the world. Sometimes when I look at my reflection, it lags for half a second, as if I'm buffering inside my own skin. I've stopped using real names, real devices. I travel by night, sleep in bus stations, keep my phone wrapped in foil, but somehow they still find me. The messages never stop. At first, they came through email, then through old pager signals. Now, they just appear on digital billboards, coffee shop screens, even in strangers' voices. 3 words, always the same: observe the loop. I've tried to contact people, my editor, my friends, anyone who might remember who I was before this. They all say the same thing, that I disappeared in 2019. One even sent me an article titled, "Missing Reporter Declared Dead After Data Breach Investigation." It had my photo, my real one, but the date of death? October 14th, 2019, the day I opened that first email. I started noticing things I couldn't explain. When I close my eyes, I see flashes of data, coordinates, diagrams, strings of binary code. If I focus, I can hear faint voices in the static like intercepted transmissions from somewhere beyond range. They whisper in multiple languages, sometimes overlapping, sometimes synchronizing into one phrase. You are not the first. I don't dream anymore. Or maybe I never wake up. Some nights, I feel the air ripple around me, like the world is recalibrating its settings. My shadow moves differently under fluorescent light. Once, in an airport restroom, it reached for the sink before I did. That's when I understood whatever they did in that facility, it wasn't cloning. It was duplication of consciousness. The Observer Project wasn't about watching the world. It was about replicating those who could. The system doesn't need agents. It just rewrites them. I think I'm one of them now, or a copy of the one who was. I can't tell which. I've seen others too, faces that almost match mine in reflections, in crowds, on passing trains. They look away the moment I notice. I've stopped chasing answers. Every time I try, the loop resets, and I'm back at another starting point, another fall sunrise. The only constant is the hum and the message that follows it. Observe. Record. Forget. But if you're watching this, if somehow this recording reaches outside the loop, remember one thing. The system doesn't end when you stop looking. That's when it begins to look back.